What's going on, guys? Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, what's going on in the United States, what's going on in Washington, D.C., money, investing, and everything you need to know about, as well as the next upcoming stimulus package, which has been announced at $3.5 trillion and will be the largest stimulus package yet to date. The third stimulus check package was only $1.9 trillion, and this next stimulus package will be larger, almost twice the size, at $3.5 trillion. We're going to be talking about that as well as what the Democrats are working on in this next stimulus package and fighting about currently at this moment, as well as Afghanistan and the latest news on that. Okay, President Biden authorized an airstrike against targets in the Islamic State in Afghanistan against ISIS last night in retaliation for the deadly attack on the Kabul airport last night. Yes. As you can see here, the U.S. military struck back at the Islamic State against ISIS K on Saturday night, bombing an ISIS member in Afghanistan less than 48 hours after the devastating suicide bombing claimed by the ISIS group. As many as 169 Afghans and 13 American service members at the Kabul airport. U.S. Central Command said the U.S. conducted a drone strike against them in Nangar, believed to be involved in planning attacks against the U.S. in Kabul. The strike is believed to have one individual, a spokesman, Navy Captain William Urban, said they know of no civilian casualties at this time. U.S. military forces conducted an over the horizon operation today against an ISIS K planner. The unmanned airstrike occurred in the Nangar province of Afghanistan. Initial indications are that the target. We know of no civilian casualty, Urban said in his statement. The airstrike fulfilled a vow President Joe Biden made to the nation Thursday when he said that the perpetrators of the attack would not be able to hide. The president said, quote, "We will hunt you down and make you pay," he said. Pentagon leaders told reporters on Friday that they were prepared for whatever retaliation action the president ordered. Let me know your thoughts on this. The president also said that they are prepared for more attacks to possibly come in the next few days while they finish out the evacuations, which are expected to be finalized by August 31st. They also said that it could go past August 31st, but at this point, there are less than 1,000 Americans in Afghanistan. So the president doesn't think that we'll need to be there past August 31st, but we will see if we need to be there past August 31st. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, on the next stimulus package, the $3.5 trillion stimulus package that has passed motions to proceed in both the House and the Senate, that is not the final vote. Okay, I know this gets a little bit confusing, but in the reconciliation process, that's a little bit different. Okay, they've kind of unlocked the reconciliation process and they are now crafting the bill in the House of Representatives. This is a very important step, and this is where they're actually going to be putting the bill together. They have a large portion of the bill already written, from what I understand. Bernie Sanders said in a tweet that he has wrote the damn bill. But the problem we're having right now is that they're going to need 100% of the Democrats, because remember, the Democrats are going to pass this bill completely on their own. Okay. No Republicans are expected to vote on this bill at all. This is exactly the same way the third stimulus check package was passed. Not a single Republican voted yes on the third stimulus check package, and the Democrats did the exact same process for the third stimulus check package. And remember, when we talk about packages like this, there's a lot more in there. For example, in the third stimulus check package, there was a lot more than just the single stimulus check. Of course, there was $1,400 stimulus checks in that third stimulus check package. $1,400 stimulus checks there was for adults, $1,400 stimulus checks for children, and there was $1,400 stimulus checks for adult dependents and college students who that was the first time they actually got checks. They didn't get checks from the first and second stimulus checks when it comes to adult dependents and college student dependents. But there was also the child tax credits for $3,000 to $3,600 for the year. Those will end at the end of this year. They want to extend that in this next package until 2025. But again, they have to actually do that. There was also rental assistance for the tune of almost $50 billion that is going out right now in a very, very slow process. The states are getting a lot of slack for that because the federal government has sent the money out to all 50 states, but the qualifications and the restrictions and the states are just laughably slow, if that is a good phrase for that. Laughably slow. I have a very, very good video that I put out some information on like a day or so ago. I'll link it to that at the end of this video. It's about halfway through the video on how to apply for rent assistance. Because literally, if you take a little bit of time and go through how to find it for your state, it's literally available for all states. Only like 11% of the money is gone out right now for rent assistance. But you can actually get up to 12 months of your rent paid for by the government from this almost $50 billion from the third stimulus check package. So we have had members from our community here, hundreds, if not thousands. I don't really know how many, but I've had a lot of comments from people say, I've gotten 3 months of my rent paid, 6 months of my rent paid, 12 months of my rent paid. So I'm not going to go over how to do it because it takes me several minutes to do it, but I'll link it to that at the end of this video. But there's all sorts of different provisions that are going to be in this next stimulus package, like utility assistance, rent assistance, possibly internet assistance, child tax credits, adult tax credits. Remember, tax credits are basically just checks. It can be a tax refund. It's really just a tax credit. It's just the easiest way to think about it is a check from the government. Just really, it's just the easiest way to think about that. But the problem they're going through right now, as they're crafting this bill, they're crafting it in the background. They have all sorts of staff members. Remember, staff members are actually just regular people. You can go and apply to be a staff member. Staff members are not elected official. They're just regular people like you and me, or Joe Bob, or John or Sally or Sue. A regular person that just walks up and says, hey, I want to apply to work here, is a staff member or an aide that write these bills. Okay, now I don't know if you have to have qualifications, college degree, or whatever, right? But these staff members, they have hundreds of them that write these bills, and they're writing this bill in the background. Remember, the infrastructure package was a total of 2,702 pages, the physical infrastructure package that has passed the Senate now and is in the House, but the House has decided that they're going to work on the stimulus package first. Okay, so it's just sitting there waiting in the House, and they're going to work on that after they pass the stimulus package. But here's the issue that they're kind of working on as they're drafting the bill. Here's the issue: we have senators and some House representatives, like, well, here's Senator Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin. You know their theme song, right? Dun, dun, dun. Kyrsten Sinema says, I simply won't back a $3.5 trillion spending bill. It's Kyrsten Sinema and, Joe Manchin. They're the more moderate of the two senators. And she says, as her bipartisan infrastructure bill becomes a House bargaining chip, the Arizona Democrat is reiterating her resistance to spending as much as progressives want. So she's a more Republican-leaning Democrat, along with Joe Manchin, and she's saying that she doesn't want to back a $3.5 trillion price tag, okay? She's not necessarily saying what's in the bill. She just doesn't want to spend $3.5 trillion, the top line number. Okay, and there's some Democrats in the House that are saying this as well. The problem with this is there's a lot more left-leaning Democrats like Bernie Sanders in the Senate, as well as in the House. There's a lot of left-leaning or progressive Democrats. The Democratic Progressive Caucus is 100 Democrats in the House. Remember, there was like 9 or 10 of the Democrats in the House that were saying, we want to vote on the infrastructure package first. But there's 100 of them in the House. So there's a lot more Democrats that actually want to spend more, as opposed to the few that want to spend less. Senator Bernie Sanders says, he shuts down Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin, says, we've already negotiated on the $3.5 trillion. Bernie Sanders says, I wanted to spend $6 trillion. But we've already negotiated on the $3.5 trillion. That's how we got to that number. That's how we got to the $3.5 trillion. We wanted to spend more. And we've already negotiated with you on this number. In fact, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi recently kind of quashed them as well, and had a statement like a few days ago and said, we're going to stick to the $3.5 trillion. And this is going to be a very interesting kind of negotiation, because this is really what it is. They had the exact same issue with the third stimulus check package, and ultimately they ended up landing at $1.9 trillion, because the top line number, the $3.5 trillion, is a very, very important issue, because if they settle on 3.5 trillion, or if they settle on 3.0 trillion, or if they settle on 3.2 trillion, whatever they end up settling on is ultimately what they can end up stuffing as much in there. Okay. When we look at this list here of the things that are being discussed for the fourth stimulus check package, some of these Republican leaning Democrats, some of the people in the comments will call them dinos, Democrats in name onlys, which is kind of a throwback to rhinos, Republicans in name only. Some of the like Mitt Romneys and maybe even Lindsey Graham's that they call them Republicans in name only. Some people even call Mitch McConnell that, the leader of the Republicans in the Senate. But these dinos like Senator Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema that lean Republican, they want to spend less as opposed to the progressives that want to spend more. They ultimately could be the deciding factor on if fourth stimulus checks or monthly stimulus checks be included in this next package. They're ultimately the guys that are kind of against the what they would call a derogatory term of free money. Okay. A lot of the negative people that are against the stimulus checks call it free money. Okay. Where the people that are for stimulus checks, they call them survival checks. They say, how could you not include a stimulus check in a $3.5 trillion package? And a lot of the people that are kind of in the middle, but they're for stimulus checks, they call them survival checks. They call them tax credits. They have interesting ways to get people money, but they know that some of the people that are against stimulus checks, they're finding creative ways to get people money in this next package without calling them stimulus checks, because stimulus checks, to the people that are against them, they're finding creative ways to get people money, like SNAP benefits, like student loan forgiveness, like rent assistance, like utility assistance, like internet assistance, like tax credits for adults, like tax credits for children for 65 million people. I mean, if you have children, those are like the greatest things since sliced bread. If you don't have children, you're like, yeah, I don't care for those too much because they're not for me. What's in it for me, right? What's in it for you would possibly be the adult tax credits. So if you look at a lot of these things in here and you just ignore the stimulus check in here, there's a lot of other things in here that kind of sound like a stimulus check. It's basically a $50 per month stimulus check, right? Think about it. It's a code word for a mini stimulus check that's $50 every single month. Okay. They're going to have probably a lot of little interesting things like that in this next package, because the Joe Manchin and the Kirsten Cinemas are, against things like stimulus checks. Now, ultimately, we don't know if they're going to include a nice big fat stimulus check in there, or a nice big medium size or small size stimulus check in there. But we do know, I have a feeling they're going to include lots of things like um, code words, sneaky things, not necessarily sneaky, but like disguised stimulus checks. Like, if you just look at this list here, let's go down the line here that are basically stimulus checks disguised as other names. Child tax credits. This is basically a stimulus check. It's money in your pocket disguised as another name. Child care tax credit is a stimulus check in another name. If you pay for childcare and now all of a sudden you're going to get it for free, or they're going to give you at reduced cost, if they're going to give you a tax credit on your taxes, that's money in your pocket. Free college, if you pay for college and now they're going to give it to you for free, that's basically a stimulus check. If you get $25,000 to buy a home, they're going to give you $25,000. That's $25,000. It's a check in your pocket. Mortgage assistance, same thing. It's money in your pocket. Utility assistance, same thing. It's money in your pocket. Internet assistance, same thing. It's money in your pocket. Debt forgiveness, same thing, money in your pocket. You can see the theme here. Adult tax credit, same thing, money in your pocket. Unemployment tax credit, same thing. It was a stimulus check. It gave you an extra thousand, 2,000, or $3,000 of tax refund, money in your pocket. So you can see the kind of thing here. You can see the theme here. They're putting a lot of creative ways of money in your pocket. A lot of these things really came true in the last stimulus package. When we look at the last stimulus package, boom, we had internet assistance. Boom, we had $10,200 unemployment credit. Boom, we just had this SNAP increase that's permanent every single year going forward. Boom, we just had student loans forgiven for $8.8 billion. Boom, we just had a student loan paused for over 40 million people. Boom, we had utility assistance. Boom, we had mortgage assistance or rent assistance. I mean, we've had so many different things here. Boom, we have child tax credits going out every single month for 65 million people. So we actually have a lot of different things here that are actually like money in your pocket, aka stimulus check. It's not the main stimulus check that you think about when you think about a $1,400 stimulus check or a $1,200 stimulus check, but there are other ways of creative stimulus checks, right? In some ways, stimulus checks, to the people who are like anti-stimulus check, the Republicans that right now are against stimulus checks, the people who are think stimulus checks are bad because they're free money and they're running up the national debt. You know, the people who are just the people who always say go back to work, get a job. You know, those people. The Democrats are just finding interesting ways to just throw um, interesting ideas in here, interesting ways to help out people in need right now. Like all these things on this list, a majority of these things on this list are basically ways to help out people in other creative ways to basically give you a stimulus check, but in other types of words, right? I mean, when you think of internet assistance, they're giving you $50 a month, which is basically a $50 a month stimulus check, but they're calling it internet assistance, right? And that's really what a lot of these things are. They're stimulus checks in different words, if you kind of get what I'm saying. So I have a feeling that we're going to get a lot of these other type of stimulus checks in this next package. Um, because I almost kind of feel like the unemployment benefits and the stimulus checks are kind of getting those derogatory terms where like a lot of people are they're calling it free money. It's getting this derogatory term, but they're going to provide all this additional help under all these other type of terms that you can literally see here listed under 26 different type of ideas. Yeah, so let me know your thoughts because honestly, when we look at the third stimulus check package, when we look at this next stimulus check package, this next stimulus package is almost twice the size. And there could just be a big old fat forced stimulus check in there. But even if there is, even if there isn't, either way, there's going to be all these other different type of programs in there. Mortgage assistance, possibly rent assistance, child tax credits, adult tax credits, internet assistance, utility assistance, free college, Medicare benefits, hearing, dental, vision, lower the Medicare eligibility age to age 60, tax credits for adult. Like, there's going to be all these different things. Honestly, once they pass the package, it's honestly going to take us some time to even figure out all the benefits that are going to be in there and all these different programs like rent assistance and utility assistance and internet assistance and uh, all the things that are going to be in there. It's been going on for a while now, and let's just hope that just keeps on going. It's a mini stimulus check every month. I know some people it took a while for it to kick in. I'm not sure why some people it kicked in right away and why some people it took a little bit while. I have no idea why some people kicked in right away and some people didn't. Some people didn't get it. Some people qualified for it. I understand each of these programs. Not everybody has student loans. Not everybody gets Medicare. Not everybody gets SNAP. Not everybody gets rent assistance. I understand that not all these programs apply for everybody. But like I said, if you've just seen on that list, there's like 26 different programs. Not everybody has children. Not everybody gets Medicare benefits. I totally get it. But honestly, in this next stimulus package, it's going to be almost twice the size. So hopefully there will be a plethora of different programs for different people, and hopefully they just provide as much as possible for everybody. And hopefully there's a lot going on. And honestly, after this next package, there'll be even more on the horizon because there's going to be more stimulus packages after this. Democrats are honestly, they're very, very worried they're going to lose the House and the Senate or even one of them. They're very happy if you just listen to the Democrats, they're very happy that they have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And I don't think they want to lose either of those. So they're going to try to provide as much as they can. I personally really think if they want to keep the House and the Senate, they should just call it a stimulus check. I think that they'll. I think that the Republicans aren't going to vote for the Democrats anyways. If you're a Republican that votes Republican year after year after year after year, you're not going to vote for a Democrat anyways, right? Let's be honest, okay? Let's be honest. But if you're a swing vote and you provide a stimulus check, a forced stimulus check, that could swing if you're thinking, hey, we want to retain the House and retain the Senate. I think they should just include a stimulus check here. I think if they don't include a stimulus check, they could lose the House or the Senate in November 2022. So I do think there's some that they could, and I'm not advocating for it either way, but I think that they could lose the House or the Senate, and the Republicans could win the House or the Senate if they don't include a stimulus check in there. But I think that they're going to include all these like other types of stimulus checks in there just under different names. I think a lot of people have to kind of realize that there's going to be these other types of stimulus checks in there under the name of rent assistance, under the name of internet assistance, under the name of utility assistance, under the name of child tax credit, under the name of adult tax credit. I think that a lot of people don't really realize that. And I think there's going to be all these different other stimulus checks, and a lot of them we're going to have to apply for, like the internet assistance, the rent assistance, all these. And I'm going to, guide you guys through how to apply for a lot of these, because I want you guys to get as many of these as you can. And you guys know if you have gotten rent assistance in the past, it's like the greatest thing ever. If you've gotten that internet assistance, it really helps out. If you get SNAP benefits and you don't get the minimum amount, if you get even the average amount, it can really add up. If you get a decent amount, those things can really add up. So if you get some of these extra benefits like internet assistance, utility assistance, rent assistance, SNAP benefits, these benefits can really add up. So once they pass this next package, I'll be here with you guys. It might take me some time to figure out all these programs. Once they pass these programs, once they release them, they've also had the funeral benefits too. That was up to like what was it, $7,000 or $9,000 if you had a loved one pass from the pandemic. You could just Google that. There's a benefit for that as well. If you had someone die from the virus, you can get up to $7,000 or $9,000 reimbursed. But yeah, so make sure to subscribe down below. I'll keep you up to date with everything. Like I said, you can get up to 12 months of your rent paid, getting rent assistance. Definitely even watch this if you're even just curious on how to do it, because like I said, you can get over $10,000 of your rent paid from the third stimulus check package, and it's available now in all 50 states. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video. In the next video. In the next video. In the